in this position since 2008. He's a member of the Ghana Institute of Engineers, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, IEEE, and the Association of Computer Machinery. His training and experience have spanned over 3 decades in electrical and electronics engineering, as well as systems engineering across 4 countries: Ghana, Japan, US, and the UK. Some organizations which he has worked for include the Electricity Company of Ghana,
I can conveniently pay for my utility bills, my son's Cartoon Network on DSTV, and renew my internet services package. I can securely send my sweet mother her monthly allowance by simply transferring funds from my bond account into hers. I can also pay the gardener through any of the mobile money platforms available. I can verify if the check to the vendor has cleared. Now let me guess my sister is here at airtime so I can peacefully go back to sleep. With Bond Mobile app, you can do your banking anywhere. Download the Bond Mobile app.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, I said good morning. I'm delighted to be here. I would like to first thank the organizers of this program, Prime Time, all the staff who work with them, everybody else, all the schools that have gathered here, and the quiz mistress, her mother. A couple of things I will say, and maybe you would understand why I've mentioned the quiz mistress, but then I would have been happier if it was a larger crowd or a larger number of students, not because I'm particularly interested in numbers, but because what I believe I'm going to share will positively impact people like you. If it's a science and maths quiz, I'm assuming that most of you will be looking at doing courses in the area of science. So it's important to hear some of these things. If the gentleman to run, I'm going to show you 2 videos. It will be mixed with my conversation. Primarily the videos are going to come, like this one is going to be the first one. And what you're about to see is a recent graduation of one of you, maybe about 4 years ago, or yeah, thereabout, 5 years ago. He was a student in St. Francis Xavier, which is in Wa in the Upper West region, and worked hard, gained admission to Stanford University, and recently graduated. I feel like showing this to you because I believe it will inspire you. Let it roll. It's 2 minutes and 16 seconds. They need to hear the sound, I hope.
Coming from a Catholic minor seminary in Ghana, Lucio had, and maybe still has, lofty dreams about becoming an astronaut. Dreams about walking stars and feeling the emptiness of space. Only Lucio, right? 5 years later, he is receiving his master's degree in computer science with a focus on artificial intelligence. He is passionate about retrofitting artificial intelligence algorithms to solve problems in Ghanaian contexts. He will spend his next year at Facebook in my hometown, Seattle, before pursuing a PhD at Carnegie Mellon University with the goal of using AI as a tool for socioeconomic change, and then we will really get to call him Dr. Derry. Lucio has come to CAS almost every single day since he arrived. He comes for a few minutes or he comes for hours. And even when he's not there, someone is asking, is Lucio here? Did Lucio leave? When is Lucio coming back? And they ask this because he is legendary. He is legendarily able to help with every event, make sure 7 of us finish our CS homework, beam at us the magic of fractals, break down the next superhero movie, and then make us feel like we were the magical superhero fractal at the center of it all. Lucio, I declare it one more time, an absolute. Who needs Professor X when you have Dr. Derry? Thank you for teaching us that to be there for each other is how we walk the stars. Thank you, and congratulations.
All right, so before we come to the next, let me say a few words about this particular video. Each and every one of you here is capable of delivering like Lucia has done. But that will not happen by hoping, by just hoping. And this new word is mine, faithing. We are religious people, so people like to declare by faith, by faith, by faith. There is something also in that same book you like to quote, the Bible, which talks about works. So you have to work hard. I hope you heard me. If you did that, God will shower His blessings on you. He will open doors for you as you network. On this note, the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation, which was founded by a very good friend of mine, we've been friends for so many years, since we're about 11 years old. His name is Dr. Ashite Trebi-Oleno. He's the chief engineer at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. He gave birth to GRAPH, the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation, and the program we run, which I am in charge, called the Robotics Inspired Science Education. Is St. Francis Xavier here? Very well, thanks for coming. In 2011, there were about 50 public senior high schools that were selected to be on this program. 50. Some have dropped out because they are not serious. They, for some reason, they like the beautiful things in this life, but they hate to work. So they will not get the benefits thereof. But we have grown. I am happy to let you know that the daughter of the quiz mistress, well, whether she likes it or not, I'll still say it. Maybe she's uncomfortable, but it's a good thing, so I've got to say it. And the grandma is here. I hope the grandma likes to hear this one. In 2013, 3 schools or 3 teams represented Ghana in the World Robot Olympiad, which is the biggest world robot competition for young people like you, all the way from primary through junior high, senior high to university. Abri Girls, St. Augustine's, and Bishop Herman. That year, out of a possible 120 points, St. Augustine's and Abri Girls pulled 110 points. That translates to about 92-93%. Did you hear me? And for me, it was a time of rejoicing for me. They did not win the competition, but for me, I don't really care about that one. But to perform that good, and the quiz mistress will tell you, it got to a certain point, they had to be transported from Abri Girls to her home to practice. And Dr. Ashite was doing that over the internet. That is the work that I'm talking about. You've got to be committed. Of course, so many principles you're learning in your science and math class, which you've got to apply to life. You've got to be solving problems. In this room, I believe, are engineers to be. And in the engineering space, you've got biomedical, electrical, electronic, chemical, mechanical, civil, aeronautics, aerospace, a host of them. Some of you here want to become medical doctors, pharmacists, and all of that. The way you have to succeed, or the way you can succeed, is to work hard. The 92% they had in that year, they were not even in the first 35. Hello? Hello? I'm not a big fan of positions. I'm not. But I'm saying that if you score 92% and there are about 75 teams competing and you are not in the first 35, it should tell you how super others are. About a week and a half ago, the rankings for schools in the world, or countries in the world, for your level, senior high school, was released. How many of you have seen that? How many of you have heard about that? Ghana was last. 76. I'm not saying this to depress you, but I'm telling you that there is a lot of work to be done. For me, if you had 92% and you were last, I don't care. It's good. Did you hear me? Oh, please, did you hear me? Yes. The first thing that should be on your mind is excellence. Look at the raw score before you look at the position. Did you hear me? Now, I'd like to go to video number 2 before I say a few more things. And I just pray and hope that today in this room, unlike we have seen in previous years, not just in the National Science and Math quiz, but my travel around the country, students don't ask questions. Ghanaian students don't ask questions. You even ask them, are you alive? Are you dead? No matter the question, they're just there. And it doesn't make you look good at all. Since 2012, we've been traveling around the world. When I say we, I'm talking about the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation, opening up opportunities for people like you to compete with their fellow students in the world. The last trip was, we are in June now, right? So only last month, from the 17th to the 19th of May, we were in Michigan, the World Championship, RoboFest. Is Opokuwari here? There were 3 teams that represented Ghana. Right to Dream Academy. How many of you know Right to Dream Academy? It's a football academy. Traditionally, they are not like the typical Lebri Girls or Achimota or Prese. It's a football academy. GSTS. How many of you know GSTS? I understand they were kicked out yesterday. And then Opokuwari. Since we came back, and let me touch on this before I forget. With all the science things you want to do, you want to go to space, you want to be a programmer, you want to be a medical doctor, you want to be all of that. Please have at the back of your mind that there's a certain word called integrity. Hello? One of the reasons why our country is in a mess. Some people may not like what I'm saying, but I've got to say it. Being powerful upstairs here is not good enough. You've got to be good enough here as well. Did you hear me? And I'm saying this to correct some information that has been out there. Since we came back from the US, sadly, Opokuwari, I don't know if they did it themselves or whatever, but I want to believe it's them because nobody will talk for them. Said they won the competition. It is not true. It is not true. I'm the one in charge. I will not lie to you. And you can check the records on the internet. Right to Dream was the best of the 3 teams from Ghana. They came 8th. GSTS was the 2nd. They came 12th. And Opokuwari was 14th. So it cannot possibly be that they won. The reason why I believe that piece of information is out there is because some other awards were given outside of the competition. And they were awarded in innovation. So if they say that they won the innovation award, or one, actually there were many of them. That would be accurate. They won an innovation award, or one of the innovation awards. Right to Dream actually won 2 awards, innovation and what the organizers called the Spirit of RoboFest. I am putting this one out here, first of all, to correct the error that is out there. I have tried, called radio stations, called media outlets to try to correct. And some of them have responded, they have corrected it, but the wrong information had already gone out there. And today, just this morning, some people tell me that, oh, really, they didn't win? We believe that they won. Please, to everything that you want to do, make sure that you add integrity. Actually, it must be at the top. Character must come first before brain power. Hello? Hello? It is required. The God whose name we mention all the time, he's far more interested in character than your ability to create robots and write computer programs and heal the sick with your surgeries and all of that. I hope you know that. I hope you know that. Yes. So please, please, please him. And then he will open doors for you like you've seen in the first video. Because of the opportunities we have as those running Graph, or the positions we occupy, we write recommendations for people like you who want to gain admissions into universities in North America. I'm talking about the United States and Canada, and maybe other places as well. There is no way you're going to come to me to ask for a recommendation letter, and I will write when I know you're crooked at heart. I won't do that. That is guaranteed. Recently, it has happened. Because it's negative, I will not give you details, but a student who wants to go to he's got a scholarship to go to the US and wanted the Ghana Robotics Academy Foundation to write a recommendation letter. 2 years before, something very terrible had happened. And some of you, as young as you are, you seem to be skillful in fabricating lies. Unfortunately, he was one of those. And he has the guts to come to me to write a recommendation letter. Why would I? I'll be very foolish. So I did not. I told him, see somebody else, because I cannot vouch for you. You've got a chance to get your life right as you work hard in your math and the sciences and all of the other related things. There are greater things up there for you. Shall we have the second video? It's about where the world is going now with artificial intelligence and all of these beautiful things. Frightening, but real. Let it roll.
Computer chips will cost as little as a penny. That's cheaper than garbage, cheaper than scrap paper. So computer chips will be everywhere and nowhere, including our contact lenses. So when we put on our contact lenses and blink, we will go online. And who were the first people to buy internet contact lenses? College students taking final examinations. This means that my students will blink, and they will not have to memorize all the things I've been talking about. This is going to revolutionize education, because we cannot force students to memorize things that they can simply blink and get. And then if you feel sick, you will blink and see RoboDoc. RoboDoc is artificially intelligent, talks to you in plain English or Russian or whatever, speaks any language, accesses the entire internet for sound medical advice, almost for free. This is going to revolutionize the medical establishment. We'll still have doctors, but doctors will use RoboDoc as an aid. And if you're in a car accident in a foreign country, you don't speak the language, you'll talk to your wristwatch and talk to RoboLawyer. RoboLawyer understands the law in any country, in any language. In fact, I personally believe that artificial intelligence, the robotics industry, will eventually become bigger than the automobile industry of today. because your automobile will become a robot. You will talk to it. You will argue with it. You'll have discussions with your car about the best route to take. And when you want to park the car, you simply tell your car, park yourself. And the car parks itself. This is going to revolutionize urban economics when you don't have to worry about parking anymore. And then the next organ to be digitized is the brain. You may not know this, but 2 years ago, scientists were able to upload the first memories. Memories can now be uploaded and downloaded. This makes possible BrainNet. BrainNet could be the next step in the evolution of the internet. Instead of zeros and ones, instead of text, you'll put emotions, feelings, sensations, memories. Teenagers will go crazy. Teenagers put happy faces at the end of every sentence. Why bother to do that when you can put the emotion of your first dance, your first kiss, your first whatever right there on the internet? And so in the future, when you walk into a room, you will mentally command the internet. You'll take dictation mentally. You'll turn things on, turn things off, communicate with other people. People will think of you as a wizard of some sort, mentally communicating with everything around you. That's BrainNet. And then biotech is being digitized now. We can create a human body shop. We can create from your own cells, so there's no rejection mechanism. We can create skin, bone, cartilage, noses, ears, blood vessels, heart valves, bladders, complete windpipes can be grown in the laboratory. The next organ to be grown, by the way, is the liver. So for all you alcoholics in the audience, take heart. We may be able to grow your next liver. So even the economy is now being digitized into something I call perfect capitalism. You see, capitalism is based on supply and demand. But you don't know who's cheating you when you buy something. You don't know what the profit margin is. In the future, your contact lens will scan everything in a store, tell you who's cheating you, tell you who has the best product, what is the profit margin on every single thing that you can scan with your contact lens. And so capitalism becomes perfect. Perfect supply and demand. This means that there are winners and losers. The losers will be middlemen. Because why did Amazon become so big? Why did Airbnb, why did Uber become so quickly so large? Because they digitized the middlemen. So I tell my friends, if you want to become a billionaire, take an industry, take any industry. Write down all the places where there's friction, where there is middlemen, where there's obstruction, where there's frustration. List all the places in any industry, digitize it, and you too could become another Amazon founder.
Thank you, Professor. In good futurism, that is a future with both inspires and terrifies. So thank you.
All right. So this is what is happening as we speak. Many of the things that he talked about are already happening. And I'm showing it to you because you can be part of it, not as consumers, but as creators. Hello? Did you hear me? I'm not showing it to you to excite you so that you know the technology is there to use. That's not bad. It's okay. I mean, so long as God is not unhappy with it. But I'm showing it to you to let you know that you can be part of those creating these things with the knowledge that you're building right now. It is possible. How many of you know that it's possible for a surgeon, let's say in Italy, to be conducting an operation on a patient lying on a table in New York? How many of you know that? How many of you did not know that? It's okay. There's a police officer. I'll not ask him to arrest you. If you didn't know, put up your hand. That's fine. All of these things have been happening for a long time. Where a surgeon, let's say in Italy, will be conducting an operation on a patient in New York. It's possible. There is somebody I know who works with a quiz mistress. She doesn't even know, maybe, let me just leave it at that. Who works with her or in her, is it faculty or college? How do you call in a school, who is working or beginning to work on a project where, let's say you've got a problem with your appendix. Instead of the doctor opening you up, wherever the appendix is, you swallow like a capsule, something as small as a capsule, which is basically a robot that will navigate its way to that point and perform the surgery for you. Hello? Things are happening, and you've got to be excited enough and know that the principles that will let you create those things, those are the things you're studying now. Those are the things you're answering questions about right now. They are not detached. You're not going to learn anything new from scratch later in your life. That's what you're already doing now. So see that as a very solid foundation. Capitalize on that, and then you can run with it. Don't forget your networks. I'm talking about connection with people, not connection in the negative sense. You've got to build relationships. People who can pick up the phone and call a professor in some university in Canada or in North America, in the United States, and say that I know this particular student. He works hard, she works hard, she's diligent, honest, and all of that. Kindly consider. I'm not willing to risk my reputation where I'm sending recommendations for people I don't know. Who does that in their right mind? Who does that in their right mind? If anybody did that, including myself, what that means is that gradually I'm blocking the chance of those coming after. If I wrote a recommendation for a student who is not diligent, a student who lacks integrity, a student who is lazy, and they went to a particular university, no miracle will happen. They would demonstrate that behavior. Hello? So immediately, the professor there will know that I'm not honest in the first place because I wrote nice things and they're seeing something else. So the next time I'm speaking or I'm writing on the behalf of a good student like you, they wouldn't believe me. Hello? You know yourself much more than anybody does. Build on your strengths. By the way, how many more minutes do I have? Fine. Build on your strengths and work on your weaknesses. Kill them. Suppress them. Ask God to help you with that. I'm told I've just got 5 minutes. I hope this 5 minutes will be loaded with questions and whatever I'm willing to answer or contribute as far as my knowledge will take me. Thank you.
If you want to find out anything about robotics, just raise your hand. Someone will bring a mic.
Anything outside of robotics. It could even be you're planning your wedding, whatever, anything at all. Once I've got an idea, I'll share with you. You can be sure I will not say anything silly. I'll say godly things only. Really, nobody? What a sad morning.
You have a question?
Okay, shoot.
Yes. After.
Must I introduce myself with something? Can I just go straight forward?
Yes.
Yes.
You go ahead.
We're listening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, clearly, as you saw, most of us have very little knowledge about robotics and stuff. So supposing you want to be part of this great innovation experience, what are some of the courses we can do, like in the university and stuff?
Well, if I heard you right, if you wanted to, let's say, read, like have robotics, that kind of space as like your career, what are the courses I'm sure you're talking about first degree courses.
Yeah.
You can look at computer science, computer engineering. Actually, any of the science spaces, even math, raw math like that, physics, all you have to make sure about is let your logical abilities be good. Your math ought to be good enough. So I'm sure any of those spaces, any of the engineering spaces, especially electrical, electronic engineering, computer science, mathematics, physics, those areas, once your interest is good enough and your math is good enough, you can easily venture into robotics for your second degree and beyond that.
Okay, so supposing I do computer science as my first degree,
right?
So from there, how do I move on to the next level?
So if you apply to do a master's, even let's say in computer science still, you can, of course, you must choose your institution right. You must choose an institution which has a professor doing some research in robotics, and then you narrow into that space. So that's how you've got to approach it. You've got to look for the institution that does what you want to do, and then you pursue it. Any other?
Any other question?
Yeah.
Yes, from BA to the north, all the schools mentioned are Ashanti region to the coastal areas.
Well,
so how do you select the schools, please?
Okay, so let me quickly mention the names of the schools. They're all over the place. Upper West, Xavier, Wa Senior High, Tia Ahmadiyya. Upper East, Bolga Girls, Boku Senior High, Navrongo, Tamale Senior High, St. Charles, Islamic Senior High, Yendi, Brown Hafo. We had Notre Dame Girls, Bechem Senior High, Sunyane, St. James, Ashanti, Prempe, Opokuwari. We had St. Louis, there used to be Asaribediakon. So they're all over the place, all over. When we got the support from the U.S. Embassy the first time, we were tasked to choose public senior high schools. I personally chose 50 across the country, in every region, every region. Since then, we have had more public schools come in on their own. We don't have funding for equipment anymore, so they have to buy their own equipment. And then we also have private schools, even at the primary level, junior high and senior high. And then a couple of universities participating now. So they're all over.
Dr. Kwekuyenchi, so if a school wants to participate, who do they get in touch with? How do they?
Well, you can write this down. I'm going to give you my number and then my email address. Please, let's work more with the email address. Sometimes I just get overwhelmed with calls. But the email, we can do a lot more. So 020 769 3568. 020 769 3568. A second number, 026. The rest of the numbers are the same. 020 026 769 3568. I hope you got that one. Now the email address. So it's my full name, Yaw, Y-A-W, Yankee Alpha Whiskey, dot O-K-R-A-K-U, Oscar Kilo, Roxy Alpha Kilo Umbrella. Urenchi, there's no hyphen. There's no hyphen in this one. My actual name, there's a hyphen, but this one, there's no hyphen. Y-I-R-E-N-K-Y-I. So Yankee, Indigo, Roxy, Echo, Nancy, Kilo, Yankee, Indigo. 722, 722. There's a reason for that number, at gmail.com. So it's yao.okreku-yirenchi722 @gmail.com. You can send email asking what you should do. Because we've been doing this for years, since 2011, so we are in our 8th year. I'm sure there is not one single question you ask whose email is not ready. So I just take it and then I ship it off. I'll just forward it to you. I'm sure almost all the questions you would ask regarding how you should participate and what you need and all of that, I'm not going to type from scratch. It's already there. I'll just push it to you. Then you can also visit our Facebook page. So www.facebook.com/Ghana Robotics. One word. Ghana Robotics. The information, if not all, most of it you would find there. That will lead you to the link to our official website, where all the competitions coming up are going to be. Our first international competition is done for the year. I told you about that. That was in Michigan last month. God willing, in 3 weeks, I'm traveling with a few students, maybe 3 or 4 of them. That is not a competition. But you see, this is the beautiful thing, and you need to be encouraged by this one. 3, 4 people just like you. We are going to fly to Washington, D.C., and in the UNESCO summer camp for young people between 14 and 20, we are going to prove, we're going to teach them that as young as you are, you know how to design, build, and program robots. That's happening in about 3 weeks. It's not a competition. It's a summer camp, and we are going to train young people. There are 3 other international competitions coming up. 2 of them, unfortunately, in spite of the fact that we send the information out there at the beginning of the year, nobody has prepared well enough. One in China, the other in the Philippines. It looks like that is just going to go down the drain. Not because we don't want to go, but those who know or have known since the beginning of the year have not practiced. Then the biggest one, international competition, the World Robot Olympiad, will happen this year in Thailand. It's going to be in November. If there is any school or group of young people who are interested, I think there is still enough time to get serious enough to show me that indeed you can go and represent Ghana. And I will choose you if you so demonstrate. The national competitions for this year will be 28th September. It's a Friday. It will be in Tamale for the 3 northern regions. The following day, 29th, will be in Accra. Then I think the 4th, either the 3rd or the 4th of October, will be in Kumasi for the 2 regions in the middle, Brown Hafo and Ashanti. Then we'll go and finish up in Cape Coast for Western and Central regions. All of this information is on the website. When you go, you see the dates and the venues. We are yet to confirm, I think, 1 or 2 venues. But then, generally, this is what it is. If there are no more questions...
Doc, this mentorship session is streaming live. And we have a few of our followers on Twitter from Opokuwari School wanting you to clarify the matter that you mentioned. What did they actually win?
Okay. I've said it, I'm going to repeat. There were 3 teams that represented Ghana in the 2018 RoboFest World Championship. 3 teams. One from Right to Dream. The name of that team was Shut Up, Be Quiet. I don't know why they chose that name. Shut Up. GSTS. The name of the team was Giant Bot 1. Giant Bot 1. And Opokuwari. The name of their team was Royd. Their positions were in that order. Right to Dream came 8th of 24. GSTS came 12th of 24. Opokuwari came 14th of 24. 2 of the Ghana teams, well, and more, I'm just concentrating on Ghana because that's what we are most interested in. Right to Dream and Opokuwari, like other teams from other parts of the world, were giving awards that was not competitive. Right to Dream won an Innovation Award, and the second one called Spirit of RoboFest. Opokuwari won an Innovation Award, or you can call it one of the Innovation Award. They did not win the competition as publicized all over the place, which I've had to correct since we've been back.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank once again Dr. Yao Okreku-Yurinchi for joining us this morning. A round of applause for him.
Thank you very much.
Oh, there's a question at the back, Doc. Sorry. Please, would ask that you come on time for these sessions. They are really educative and meant for you. So when you come on time, then we can have a lot of time to explore all the questions that there are.
So somebody asking a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Since the architecture wants clarification, I want you to help us differentiate the Innovation Awards that Prempeh won in 2016 and the one they won this year. If they are the same, you just tell us.
They are the same.
They are the same. Thank you.
And I'm happy another school's name has come in. I think that is part of the problem. My friends, I want to call you friends. I am an old student of a school. I schooled here in Ghana. And the old students are doing so well. So well. I'll give you one solid reason why I say this. By the way, I'm an old student of GSTS. In their travel to the United States, the old students here in Ghana alone raised over 100,000 cedis to fly them. This you're not likely to find in a junior high school or primary school. That kind of old students thing is not there. I don't think it ever will. Opokuwari, the same thing. Opokuwari even was more powerful in a sense because I know for a fact that just one old boy, one, pre-financed everything.
Wow.
Listen, I cannot be happier when funding or sponsor, when I say pre-finance, I hope you understand that. I'm sure he's going to get some money back or all the money back, but most of the time it's time dependent. So you don't have forever, and the opportunity will slip if the money is not available. So for him to have been able to do that, it's commendable. So I'm saying that the old students are doing very well. But there's too much of I'm better than you, rivalry, leading to dishonesty, integrity issues, and quarrels, unnecessary things. The things that are godly, the things that are pure, the things that are, you know the things I want to say, all the things that are talked about in Philippians. Focus on that one. And let's suppress the unnecessary rivalry that sometimes brings too much of pressure, unnecessary pressure. I hope you understand me. It can be beautiful. The senior high schools, I believe, will always get a lot more funding support. Otherwise, the opportunities will slip for the senior high bracket. Any more?
Any more questions? Yes, sir. We'll take our last question. This will be our last question.
And I can bet my last peswa. By now, you see the bashing I'll be receiving on the net. But you see, I don't care one bit when I speak the truth. I will live with it. And those who will go out there spewing foul stuff, they better think twice.
Yes, sir.
I got to do with the second video.
Sorry?
The second video you showed us.
Right.
Yes. We are going to live in a new world. You said it's probably even started. I believe the little computer we studied. So anything happen to a system, it breaks off and probably, let's say that we get to this very world. Is there any mechanism that is going to solve it? Maybe one thing happens and the whole world, within a blink, we are all gone and we are dead. Is it the best option as it stands now? Even this, yes, as humans, technology is very important. But then, if it happens like that way, is there not a means that by science, they want to wipe off a certain clan or people. Because out there, I want to believe that when you go, you study more, there are other words that think that the Africans or other words, we have younger ones who are growing and that they are threat to certain countries and the rest. So is there a means? Or are they going to give you an antidote, an antivirus, should anything happen to the memories are going to upload or something of a sort?
I will be happy if you could, it's too general, but if, let's say, you could give me a specific area where you think that this problem is going to arise. I'm not saying that nothing will happen, okay. But if you could narrow it down, then I'll be more specific.
All right, my memories. I can upload my memories that I have.
Okay, right.
Probably I had a mother that somebody want to adopt me now. For that matter, they upload a new memory that will make me seem that that other person is my mother, whilst my real mother is in a village somewhere.
Great question. You see, if you noticed, I've been very general, not to say it's all positive or all negative. It cuts both ways. It's going to cut both ways. For example, let me just digress and then I'll come right back. We know for a fact that the way we are treating our bodies in terms of things we put in is the cause of many diseases, including cancer. We know that. God created animals like maybe the chicken to eat grain and stuff like that. The cattle and the goat and the sheep to eat grass. But human beings, whether it's greed or experimenting or whatever, we've introduced things that are not natural. There is enough research to prove that. These things that are unnatural is the reason, or one major reason, why diseases are all over the place. We know that. Instead of the human being going back to do the natural stuff, we still want to breach God's natural order and then rather go and find medication to solve the disease. Are you getting my point? So it's going to cut both ways. And those of us who are going to be in that space with some God in our hearts will be the ones to rise and speak against such things so that there will be checks and balances. In other words, shift us towards that which is beneficial, truly beneficial, to make our lives a little bit more easy. Because it's not all negative and it's not all positive. Have I touched on? Yeah. As to whether there's going to be an antidote or not, it's going to depend on us, those creating it. We must know that there could be a problem. Are people thinking about solutions? I believe so. Will the solutions work well enough? I don't know. But I'm saying that before we allow the ungodly folks to be throwing out so much things that will endanger so many things and so many people, those godly people should be pulling the brakes on the things that could hurt us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yaokwe. What he has basically said is that we'll need people of integrity to handle some of these things. I'd like to say thank you again to Bond Savings and Loans and RMG Ghana Limited for sponsoring our mentorship sessions this year. You have been given some forms, some evaluation forms to fill for us. Kindly fill it out, raise your hand, and our production assistants will come around and pick it. Next week, God willing, we'll have 2 mentorship sessions, one in the mornings and one in the afternoons. So see you again tomorrow morning. Thank you.
I can conveniently pay for my utility bills, my son's Cartoon Network on DSTV, and renew my internet services package. I can securely send my sweet mother her monthly allowance by simply transferring funds from my Bond account into hers. I can also pay the gardener through any of the mobile money platforms available. I can verify if the check to the vendor has cleared. Now let me guess my sister is here at time so I can peacefully go back to sleep. With Bond mobile app, you can do your banking anywhere. Download the Bond mobile app on Apple Play Store or Google Play Store today. Bond, your success, our passion.
The National Science and Maths Quiz is the longest running independent production on television. It's the one program that brings education authorities, teachers, allied staff, students, old students associations, and parents together in support of science.